How do you know if you're meditating properly, and how do you know if you're thinking about in space correctly? And what I'm talking about is when Dr. Joe Dispenza says, can you think about the space that your head occupies in space? Or can you become aware of the space that your body occupies in space? Or he'll say something along those lines. And a lot of people are like, what does that mean? What am I supposed to be thinking? What am I supposed to be imagining? It's really about being aware and sensing instead of thinking or analyzing. So we all have this ability to sense what's going on in the room around us, to sense how much space something is taking up. And that's the mindset that you're trying to get in, because when you observe energy and you acknowledge that it's there and you can sense the energy, that's when you're able to actually affect that energy, change matter, and make changes in your life, in your surroundings, in your health. And so one of the ways he described this is, imagine you're in a forest, you're walking, and you take a second to see the sun peeking through the leaves of the trees and a bird chirps high up. Your focus goes from the ground of the forest or whatever you're looking at to higher up where the sun is coming in, where the bird is chirping, and you switch into this open focus where you become more aware of what's going on around you, and your focus opens up to a wider space of what's happening. And you're also sensing and aware of what's going on around you instead of thinking and analyzing. Like right now I'm thinking, I'm talking, I'm making this video, I'm in a beta brainwave state. But if I were to just stop and be present and become aware of the space of my entire apartment, then I'm no longer thinking, I'm sensing and I'm feeling. And that will slowly get you into an alpha brainwave state where you're relaxed, you're not thinking, you're not over analyzing. And that's when you're able to create change. That's when you're able to affect matter. And when you become aware of the energy of a space, then you can change that energy and you're able to change your conditioning. Another example that he gave, if you're struggling with the whole in space thing, is if you're driving in your car, can you become aware of the space that your car takes up and the space within your car? And I think we all have the ability to do that and understand the space and be aware of the space. If you feel like you're having a lot of wandering thoughts during meditation, maybe negative thoughts, and you just notice all these things coming up and you really struggle to focus, that's totally okay. You don't have to be perfect at meditation right away or even ever. That's really not the end goal of meditation. The goal is to show up every day and be present and practice training your brain, practice teaching it to come back into focusing on gratitude, focusing on being happy, feeling happy emotions, thinking positive things. And it's about training your brain to do that. It's totally natural for it to not want to do that right away. That's why you're doing this work. And by observing your limiting beliefs, by observing your negative thoughts and observing what things come up, you can begin to understand your conditioning and begin to understand what's holding you back and what your blocks are. And that's super helpful and super powerful. So don't feel like you're meditating wrong. Don't feel like you're not making progress. It's like if you're trying to gain muscle or trying to lose weight and you go to the gym one day and you're really struggling, you're not very strong, you're not able to work out for long, and you come home and you haven't lost any weight and you haven't gained any muscle, you wouldn't think, oh, working out just doesn't work. Obviously, I'm not seeing any results, so obviously this isn't working or I'm not doing it properly. You would understand that working out takes consistency and that you will see results if you continue to do it every day. And that just because you're not seeing results right away or you're not good at it at first doesn't mean you should just give up and not even try. And meditation is really the same way. Essentially, you're taking your brain that wants to overanalyze, wants to have negative thoughts, wants to do all these different things, and you're taking it each day, you're sitting it down and you're saying, no, you're gonna be present, you're gonna be grateful, you're gonna be happy. And you take that time every day to try to do that. It doesn't matter how good you are at it, it's really just about being consistent and still doing it every day. And so if you're feeling like you're not meditating correctly or you're analyzing, am I doing this correctly? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? That's really the thinking that we're trying to move away from. You're trying to move away from thinking and analyzing and get out of that beta brainwave state. So don't be thinking, am I doing this correctly? Whatever thoughts or feelings you have about whether or not you're doing it the right way, if you're having that during meditation, that's exactly the kind of thinking that you're trying to overcome. You don't want to be thinking and analyzing and worrying. So really what I'm trying to get you to understand is there's no right way to meditate. It's really just about being consistent and doing it every day and not overanalyzing if you're doing it right. and just knowing that it's still having a positive effect on you at any level, even if you feel like you didn't have a good meditation. And I personally would recommend just starting with a 15-minute meditation every day. That way you can really do it every single day and be consistent, because it's not going to take up too much of your time. And at least you're taking those 15 minutes every day to be in the right state of mind. I usually do a 15 or 30-minute meditation once or twice a day, and that will really get me in the right mind state for the entire day and help me to just be happy all the time, be grateful all the time, and not have any of the negative thoughts or bad feelings that I used to have so often. So really a 15-minute meditation like every morning or every night can really set you up for just an entirely better day. And I think it's really important to do it every day. And then as you have more time, you can start to do the hour-long ones or the longer ones when you feel like you have time and you're wanting to really invest more time into meditation. But I would say just start with something small that you can be consistent with. And it's okay to have negative thoughts. It's okay to have limiting beliefs come up. It's okay to be overanalyzing and wondering if you're doing it right. Just observe that and take note of that. And then practice getting your brain back to being present, to sensing, to being grateful, to being positive. Whatever it is that the meditation is asking of you, because that's really what meditation is about. It's about taking control over your brain in order to undo your conditioning. And it's okay for all of these things to come up, and don't worry about whether or not you're meditating properly or you're meditating in the best way, because that's exactly the kind of thinking that we're trying to move away from. Just focus on being consistent and practicing taking control of your mind and getting it back to where you want it to be, because that's the skill that you're trying to build, and it's okay to not be good at it at first. That's the whole point of meditating. So basically, I just want you to understand that even if you feel like you're bad at it, it's still doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing. And just keep doing it. Don't give up. Stay consistent, because every time you do it, no matter how it goes, it's going to have a positive impact, because you're practicing the skill of meditating and you're not supposed to be perfect at it right away. Let me know if you have any questions. I love reading your comments. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.